Good morning, everyone. How's everyone? Hope you're doing well this morning. Now, guys, I'm going to be running the algorithm, seeing what it outputs, looking at the TET Capital report, determining the trades for the day as usual. Last trades, we took our EURUSD, AUDUSD, and AUDNZD. So hopefully we find something good to look at today. Today is Monday, 3rd of March. So let's have a look. You can see here the only trade that I found for the day is this EURUSD trade through to the upside, which is interesting because we just sold EURUSD through the downside. I'm going to talk about that right now. There's some things that worry me about this trade, but I'm still going to end up taking it because it's systematically correct. However, I'm going to talk about everything here. So I'm buying USD right now through to the upside for the following reasons. As I look at the TET Capital report right now, I can see that USD is bullish from an investor horizon, it is neutral from a swing horizon, and it is neutral from a day trading horizon. We are targeting on the investor horizon the 1.06293 area, which is very interesting because right now we just went below the 1.03 area. The number one thing that interests me the most is that the swing horizon, if you remember the TET Capital report that I showed you last, the swing horizon was bearish for EURUSD, and right now it just turned neutral. So the bearishness on EURUSD just ended from a swing horizon. That retracement through to the downside that we can, for example, find on the daily right here, just ended through to the downside, therefore ending the bearishness through to the downside. So right now we're only left with the bullishness that exists on this investor horizon right here through to the upside into these stops, as we previously said, into this 1.05 area through to the upside. Now, therefore, the bearishness just ended, the bullishness will resume, therefore I'm looking for bullish trades for EURUSD. Now, right now, I just placed a buy stop order, so the moment the market starts reversing, hitting this area right here, I will be taking this trade through to the upside, targeting this 1.05 possibly all over again. So let's quickly have a look at what we have here on the charts for EURUSD. Now, the thing that I am skeptical of is that right now you can see that the market just went below this $1.03 area, these bottoms right there. However, I would have preferred if this price went all the way down to the 1.03500 level and liquidated this low, which would be the stop losses of these bottoms right there. So tap this low and then push through to the upside. So the only thing I'm interested in right now is seeing if price can possibly make it into this low right there, of course, triggering me out of this trade. If price makes it down here, then of course I'm going to be looking for further entries for EURUSD, seeing if I can enter again through to the upside, if it offers me anything. So this is the only thing that I'm skeptical of. However, at the same time, the thing also that is leading me to take this trade is that we just liquidated this support line right here. So we created this $1.03750 support line, and we just broke into it right there through to the downside. Lots of sellers entered price right here as we broke through to the downside, and then we started pushing through to the upside. And what did we do to the upside? We started creating these stops right here. We're also around the 1.04, almost 200 level. We're creating a resistance line and then pushing through to the downside. Also, lots of sellers are selling the market as market is pushing right now through to the downside. Now, what we could be doing as well, we could be covering this gap. That's it. So we covered this gap that happened as Monday opened all the way down to 1.0750 and then pushed through to the upside. And this is what I'm betting on, basically. I'm betting that the market right now is just covering this gap, pushing more sellers to enter this market through to the downside, trapping them into this price, and then pushing through to the upside all the way back up into this 1.05 level. As you notice, I'm very focused on this 1.05 level, and therefore I'm going to start taking partials almost as soon as we reach up into here. This would be my partial area, and then I would let the rest run into my 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. This is how I'm trading EURUSD at the moment. Let's see how that goes. Right, so as you can see from the investor horizon, we spoke about it in the last video, the market just made it all the way up. I also showed you from the weekly horizon right here that we had a 3 drives pattern, and I told you that the market for EURUSD, you can just watch the last video that I uploaded, that EURUSD might start making it up from here. And right now, this just happened, this just manifested. As you can see, the market just rocketed through to the upside after my entry, all the way up into this 1.08500 level. Now, if you remember from the video that right now, in this video actually, in the beginning of it, should be for you. So I had some fears that the market was creating a stop loss area right here at the 1.03500 level, right there, if you can remember this area right here. And I said that I'm skeptic of it. However, I'm still going to take this trade because systematically it's a correct trade. So I don't get to avoid the trade just because I have some certain fears. I am not emotionally guided to decide whether I take trades or not. I'm systematically guided, and my system says this trade is all right. So regardless of how I feel about it, I'm going to take it either ways. However, I don't ignore my emotions completely. I don't ignore my ideas completely. Inside of my journal, this is something very important that you can start implementing. I have a category called skepticism. Okay? And skepticism is basically the things that, in a sense, worry me about these trades, to the things that I look at the trade and I'm like, you know what, there's this, there's that, but are still not systematic reasons for me to avoid the trade. Let me give you an example. Right now, we saw this area that I was skeptic of. I was just worried that the market might make it all the way down into here. However, I have no rule in my trading system that says to avoid such trades. And therefore, since this rule doesn't exist, then I shouldn't avoid the trade, but it's still some sort of a skepticism that I have. That's it. So I will write it in the skepticism journal, in the skepticism category. I will write down there was an area. So I'll write down the 1.03500 area right there, where there might be stop losses. And I'll just write it down in this skepticism category. Now, in another category, I have whether it manifested or not. So whether this skepticism that I have of the markets, whether it actually ended up happening and the market made it down into the stop loss area and then pushed through to the upside or not. So right here, of course, for this specific trade, I will write in this category that it didn't manifest. Now, let's say that it did. Okay, so I will write yes. Now, at the end, when I accumulate, let's say 100 trades, I will go look at the skepticisms and I will look whether they manifested or not. And if I see that, let's say in my skepticism category, I'm always writing there was an area of stop losses and then it's manifesting, it means that this should become a rule in my trading system. So this is how I create rules in my trading system. I write it down in the skepticism category first. So at the beginning, it's just a skepticism. It's not something that I should start implementing immediately. So I write it in the skepticism category. Now, if it manifests very often, so if every time that I write that there was a stop loss area, let's say the market comes down and hits it, and it's manifesting very often, it's happening very often, then this needs to now become a rule in my trading system. So I will create a new rule. So I'll be like a new rule in my trading system. Don't enter trades when there's a stop loss area or a big liquidity area, basically, right below your entry. So it will become a rule in my trading system and I will start avoiding such trades. But up until it becomes a rule, as long as it's not a rule, I will continue to take these trades regardless of how I feel, regardless if I'm skeptic about something, because as I said, I am not emotionally guided to take trades. I am systematically guided to take trades. And therefore, I will just write them down. Now, right now, in the category of whether it manifested or not, I will go to my journal and I will write no. So as long as it's no, it's not manifesting, or it's not manifesting in a big batch, so the majority of them are not manifesting, it will never become a rule in my trading system. It will only be a skepticism that I have, but will never become a rule in my trading system until I see a lot of yeses. That's it. As soon as I see a lot of yeses, I will then measure whether that skepticism, whether that thing is costing me money, a lot of money. And then if it's costing me a lot of money as a result of it manifesting way too much, then it will become a rule in my trading system where I start avoiding it. For now, as I said, it is not a rule in my trading system, so I don't avoid it. I just wanted to show you or explain to you how I create rules in my trading system, new rules on whether I should avoid a certain trade or not.